Sony is breathing new life in its mid-range offers in the US with the new Xperia XA1, which would only work on T-Mobile and AT&T, but it's nice to have extra options here. In the year of bezel minimalism, Sony's phones look especially out of the loop, and the XA1 is no exception. The 5-inch screen is framed between huge top and bottom bezels, making the Sony as tall as the 5.2-inch Honor 8, not to mention bezel-busting flagships like the G6 or the S8. The Xperia XA1 is narrow enough to be comfortable for one-handed operation and feels sturdy in the palm. In fact, it is solid as a brick despite the all-plastic construction, and we appreciate the inclusion of a modern USB-C port at the bottom. When it comes to buttons, the plastic volume rocker on the right is a bit smallish and wobbly under the thumb, but it and the signature metal home key of Sony are well placed to comfortably feel and press without looking. There's a dedicated camera key as usual, something we've learned to appreciate in Sony's Android designs. A 5-inch HD screen is nothing to pop champagne about in the pixel density department, but is sufficient at this diagonal, and there are battery gains to be had with this resolution. The picture doesn't lean to the colder side of the spectrum as usual with Sony's mobile screens, but it's rather spot on in terms of color temperature. The display is also bright enough and with a low screen reflectance to seem perfectly legible under direct sunlight too. Its only downside are a bit mismatched greens, and that's about it. The Xperia XA1 is underwritten by Android 7 Nougat out of the box, which we can only appreciate, and is plastered with a bit of the Sony interface on top. The company's overlay is near stock, with Google's apps taking over most of the common functions, but with Sony's unique iconography and plenty of options for theming and extra personalization. Sony adds a lot of value with its proprietary apps too, like Sketch or Movie Creator, which offer very good image and video editing abilities. In addition, there are some thoughtful interface features like smart backlight management, which keeps the screen lit when you're looking at a photo, for example. To top it all off, the interface performance is very fluid and runs without interruptions. In fact, it is very close to what completely stock Android phones like the Pixel offer. Given the mid-range category, it is a pleasant surprise to see a 23-megapixel camera adorning the back of the Xperia XA1, as well as a generous 8-megapixel shooter up front. The high-res sensor comes with small pixels, however, that soak in less light. The camera app offers a multitude of shooting modes and color effects with a trendy swipe gesture navigation between them, but most of the time you'll likely be shooting in the default superior auto mode. A typical Sony affair, the 23-megapixel sensor is hit or miss when it comes to color presentation or dynamic range in auto shooting mode. The image colors can be colder than reality and a bit too saturated. One and the same scene can be exposed a step brighter or darker in the span of a second shot, depending on how the algorithms fall, and the phone often overexposes brighter spots too much. Overall, however, it performs in sync with the mid-range category by saving us any terrible mishaps. There are too many pixels on this tiny sensor to keep noise in check, and it shows in frame sections like clear blue sky. The post-processing isn't very aggressive in terms of sharpness, and the pictures, especially indoor ones, look a bit too soft for liking, yet abnormal noise levels still show. The phone is capable of 1080p recording with 30 frames per second, and that's that. Despite the resolution, however, the footage is smudgy and lacking detail, while panning around leads to choppy exposure adjustments, and there are too many skipped frames. The steady shot software stabilization of Sony does a good job in keeping the frame from shaking too much, but all in all, the recorded video footage is a bit hard to look at. The Xperia XA1 is a fine upgrade over its XA predecessor with a better camera, faster chipset, USB-C and more memory. Moreover, Sony's aging polycarbonate brick design is actually becoming fresh again in this day and age of glass or metal handsets with rounded corners. The XA1 bezel-full design puts it at odds with phones like the Honor 8 or Galaxy A5, which offer a slimmer chassis that fits more screen in the same footprint and better specs, but also cost $100 more. Sony's interface is faster moving, though, and keeps close to stock, adding value via a set of excellent apps for creating, editing and enjoying media. When it comes to camera quality, the XA1 is not the best out there despite the record resolution for its class, but is on par with the phone's direct competitors. Battery life hits the average for the category mark, yet we're used to Sony's HD display phones going a bit extra in battery endurance. Overall, you can't ask much more from a $300 phone than what the Xperia XA1 already offers, yet Sony will have a steep hill to climb in the US, as for less than that you can get handsets like the Moto G5 Plus here, and for a tad more the Honor 8 or even a discounted Galaxy S7 are beckoning. Still, the Sony brand, the blocky but distinctive design and the solid all-around performance are points in the XA1's favor at this price point. This was a video review of the Sony Xperia XA1 from PhoneArena. For more information about this and other handsets, you can visit us at PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching.